Greetings, everyone. My name is Prabir.
So what I'm going to right now do is that, how to basically install the integration server. And then we can just do a demo on how to get the extension package from the X-Force Exchange. And then how do you deploy those legacy tar.zz file into an integration server. Let's have a look at that. So before jumping into that, I have a quick slide that I would like you to see. So this is how you set up an integration server. So this is basically, I just put up the points which I did while setting up a lab server for the integration server, the QRadar SOAR platform. So this is altogether a different system on which I have set up the integration server. So the operating system is RHEL 8.6. Installed Python version. This is utmost importance. Otherwise, the resilient circuit framework may not run correctly. So installed Python version is 3.9.16. As you can see, the requirement is greater than or equal to 3.9.14. And the command is given at the end within the parenthesis. You have to run as root or maybe as a sudo user, yum install Python 39. And after that, we'll have to create a user. Basically, we call it integration. The name is integration user. So the command is add user integration and then the home directory. Then set the password of the integration user. Install the resilient circuits using pip3. Pip3 install and then upgrade -- upgrade and then resilient circuits. It's a Python module. And then verify the Python module using the pip3 list command. You can verify the modules using as both root user and integration user. As an integration user, we'll have to generate an app.config, as you know, while doing the integration from our last session using the Kubernetes-based applications right from the AppHost. We used to modify the app.config file on the UI. So this is the same, structure. So same app.config file is being used, but it will be living in the integration server. We'll have to generate basically that app.config file using the resilient circuits config-c create. Then it generates the app.config file in the home directory of the integration server or any user that you choose. And then last thing is to configure that app.config file so that it can point to the SOAR platform. We'll see that. After that, we'll have a look at the QRadar SIEM integration, and then we'll see how to set up that integration and then mapping of those templates. So let's get started. So first, how to set up the integration server. So this is the integration server that I was talking about, which I have already set it up. If you see the operating system version is 8.6. Okay, user is integration that I have created. And the resilient circuit, basically we install it using pip3 install -- upgrade and then resilient circuits. This is the command that I've used to install the package. So I'm just going to, list it. Okay, so pip3 list. So these are the files that will get installed as a part of, while you are installing the resilient circuits framework. So once that is done, resilient circuits config and then -c. So this will create this configuration file on the home directory .resilient app.config. Okay, this is a text file that will get created. So once this is done, next part is we can have a look at this, configuration file. So this is how it looks. The resilient host, all those. Basically, we'll have to provide, you know, um, the host name and the port for your SOAR or resilient server, SOAR platform. Okay, and then we need an API key and an API secret. Okay, so this is how you're going to configure. And this API key, where it's going to come from. So this is going to come from the user. Go to administrator settings and then go to users, API key. And then you see this integration server. I've created this demo API key to integrate this, configure this app.config resilient circuits. Once this is done, we can check, okay, we can check. So I'm going to do some modification to this file. Which I have done. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. This is the basic configuration without the integration. So I have just the, I've just the connection details to the demo server with the bootcamp organization. Quit it. And then how do we make sure, that this is working okay or has got connected to the platform? So for that, we'll have to run this as resilient circuits followed by run. And this run command. Okay. So if you see this, it's connected to the server, resilient server. Okay, and it gives you the version number and all those details. And it tells you that connection established. Okay, and it gives you the details. So this is the message that you should look for a successful, integration with the integration server, between the integration server and SOAR platform. So the resilient circuits has started successfully and is now running. That means the integration server has been set up correctly. Okay, so now that integration server is up and running, what next? So basically, the ideal way of integrating, applications or security solutions that you have on your on-premise or over the cloud, which is owned by your organization, right? So that you're going to integrate with SOAR platform using the which is the recommended way, using an AppHost that we did in our last session. So we're going to head over to the Xforce Exchange and then go to the App Exchange, okay? And then go to the QRadar SOAR. Go to the QRadar SOAR and we can see all these extension that is available for installation. However, if I'm going to download this, okay? If I'm going to download this, it's going to get downloaded in a, it's going to get downloaded into a zip file. It will download a zip file. By default, it's a zip file. So if you want to test it out, so where do you get the tar.cz file? As you know, Vinay has already mentioned it, integration server it's only requires if you have a extension format in tar.cz file. If you have a zip file, that can directly get installed in an app host, right? So why do you need an integration server? Basically, integration server comes in handy if if you have any solutions for which you do not find an existing integration app, right? And or maybe if you have any solution, in-house solutions for which you want to do some automation, right? Or incident response around that particular integration or solution that you can develop on your own. So SOAR provides an SDK, resilient SDK, using which you can develop your own app. And that the features of the SDK is that it can generate a application in tar.cz file. Also, it can give you a zip file which can get directly installed on an AppHost, right? But while developing an app, you're not going to get directly a Kubernetes-based container format. So first you'll have to, so the ideal thing while developing an app is that you're going to develop it in a local format or legacy format, tar.cz. And then if everything deploy onto integration server, everything works as expected, then the next thing is to, package or convert the tar.cz file into a app. You can choose to publish it on the Expose Exchange itself here listed, which can be useful for the customer also, or you can choose to keep it to yourself if it is, if it is something sensitive to your org. So once you download this, once you download the zip file, so how it's going to look like, I'm just going to, okay. So this is one of the, a zip file that I have downloaded, which is the X-Force. Let's search for it. X-Force. Okay, so X4 collections for SOAR. So it basically the functions allow users to search for X-Force Exchange collection for enrichment information about a threat. And it gives 2 functions, 3 playbooks, 1 script. Okay, so this is a zip file. So if you download this, you're going to get a zip file which you can directly install onto the AppHost using the, here. Go to apps and then directly install it. Browse the zip file, install it here. But if you want to, if you want to install it in a tar.cz format or to an integration server, you'll have to unzip it. Okay, you'll have to unzip it, and within that zip file, you will see this tar.cz file. So this is basically compatible with the integration server. Okay, once you get this tar.cz file, again, so you can get the legacy format of the extension from a zip file or vice versa. If you have a tar.cz file, right? So let's say you have developed your own app in the tar.cz file, you can use the Resilient SDK to convert or package this tar.cz file into a zip file, which will be compatible with the AppHost. So once you get the tar.cz file, what you're going to do, you're going to copy this over to the integration server. So this one. So if you see this has been copied to this integration server X-Force. Now I have a pip3 list. Okay. So if you do this, you're going to get the list of the packages which is installed, and then, X-Force. I have already installed it, hence it is listed. If it is not, then what I can do, pip3 install on user mode. If you don't provide the user, okay, it gets by default into the into the global directory that would be applicable to all the users. But if you use -- user, it will be specifically for this integration user. pip3 install user mode basically, and then the package name, the function X-Force, the package. And once this get installed, so we'll have this pip3 X-Force listed in there. All right. Now, once that is done, what you can do is that resilient circuits, because this now the package, this integration is installed. What we need to do is we need to add the section configuration. If you remember any integration here for REST API, let's say this is an app. So for this to work, we're supposed to do the configuration, right? Here app.config, we used to add a stanza, this one, function REST API, and then all the details, right? Similar fashion, we'll have to do it here as well. So for the integration server also, every, integration must have a, its own section in the app.config file, which will be in the home directory of the user, which is this .resilient app.config. In this file, it must be present, okay, so that it gets initialized. So to do that, what you can do, you don't have to manually do anything, right? So the standard that we saw it for here, this one, details, customization, configuration, and this stanza, this will come up automatically for any of the integration that we are going to add. For that, we'll have to run this resilient circuits, and then if you provide the option -h, it will give a couple of subcommands that you can use. Create or update a basic configuration file. So we want to do that, config, resilient circuits, and then config, and then update. Okay, so this is going to update the file, which is the basic, which is the default configuration file, which is resilient app.config. There, okay. I'm just going to uncomment all of those. Okay. I just need the, API key and password. Okay, all right. Once that is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to customize, deploy. So first, install the package. That's point number one. Install the package. How would you do that? pip3 install user mode. Okay, because the integration user may not have permission to write the default, the global directory for Python. And then the function xforce. Okay, so this is how you install it. Okay, once you install it, next part is to update the configuration, which you are going to do using the resilient circuits config and then -u option. This is going to add that section into the resilient circuit, this one. This is going to add this stanza in the app.config file, this section. Okay, once that is done and you have configured, or you need to go there on the app exchange and then go to here and then settings, and then you have to go there and then API access. So here you have to create all these. Once that is done, we have to, once you got the API key, paste it there. Next thing is to deploy the app. So how would the SOAR platform be aware about this integration, right? So this, you are doing everything on the integration server. So you have installed this extension on the integration server. You have updated the configuration file, which is app.config on the integration server, right? We have not basically done anything to let the SOAR platform know about this integration. Okay, so how do we do that? To let the SOAR platform know that, we have a new integration in place, what you can do, there is a command which is basically called the deploy an app. So we need to deploy the app. So 3 steps: install the integration, update the configuration file, and then deploy the app so that SOAR platform will get aware of the integration. And the command to deploy is resilient circuits deploy, and then you must be thinking deploy, right? It's not deploy actually. There's no such command deploy if you just give a -h. If you see, there is no subcommands deploy. Okay, so the deploy, probably you remember this as resilient circuits deploy. There is no deploy, so you'll have to customize. The word is customize. Customize is used to deploy an app, deploy the custom extension from the integration server onto the SOAR platform. Resilient circuits, customize, and then just that, okay? And it will deploy the integration, new integration that it will find in the app.config file, which is basically the Xforce extension. Once that is done, okay, we're going to run the circuit, which is resilient circuits run. Okay, so how would you know this one? See this? So it says function Xforce components. These are all loading and then registered to, registered to this. So everything has got registered and we didn't get any, basically error. And when you run this, so right now, this functions fn Xforce should be available on the UI, though I have not added, right? So let's go ahead and then check that. Basically, from the earlier one, we used to install the app, then only we are getting the, functions or playbooks or anything. So if you see here, I do not have that Xforce app installed, all right? But if I go to, let's say if we go to the customization, okay? If we go to customizations and then functions, okay, you see this? Xforce utilities, get collection by ID, query collection. So these this have come from the integration. How do I know that? Probably, this can be done using, let's say I go to destination. Okay. If you see this function Xforce, so the API key, API key integration server. Okay. Here the integration name or display name is Xforce. So this has come from the integration server, or basically the API name that you choose to give during the configuration of the integration server. If you happen to remember this, if I can just quit it. So, okay, let's quit it. And then controller app.config. So this is the API details, right? So this is the API. So this came from here. If we go to, we'll just minimize a little bit. Enter the settings, API key, at this integration server, okay? So this is the display name, and this is what it was showing up in here, customization settings. If we go to functions or, destinations there, Xforce display name, and it came from the integration server. So this is, this is how you're going to do it. Also, here it says, I had given you the hint how to see this in the last session on the this part, sorry, the Xforce Exchange part. So if I go here and then look for, Xforce application. So this is the collection and contents. If you see the contents here, 2 functions, 3 playbooks, 1 script, right? So this is what it's showing. So this is the playbooks. So if you see, we have 3 playbooks. If you see the Xforce, 1, 2, 3, but we have not installed it here. So this is coming from the integration server. Okay. And you can see this by this updated by column, which says integration server. Okay. So this is coming from there. All right. So that was how you do the integration using an integration server. All right. Now, if I go there, and then one more thing is that, when you run the resilient circuits, and then run, it always will get stuck, kind of, it will not give you back the prompt, basically. So you're stuck at a terminal. So while this is running, you'll have to open up a new terminal to work on the integration server. And to get around that, what you can do basically is configure this circuit for a systemd service. Okay, so for a systemd service, what you can do, you can just create this file. You'll just have to use sudo and then vi and then followed by this etc systemd system and then resilient circuits dot service. Okay, so this file you can create with this content. So once you have done this, what you can do, I can just, right now, resilient circuit is not running, okay, because I've killed it. Control C to get out of that, stuck window, and you can directly use systemctl start followed by the service name. Okay, so I'm not going to give the password and then sudo. Okay, now sudo systemctl status. Okay, now your circuit is always running. Now the circuit, resilient circuit is now a daemon or a systemd service on the RHL system. Okay, other platform are also supported like Windows, and then probably other listed CentOS, right? So systemd related operating system, you can do like this. Windows might have some different settings, right? So this is how we can configure the resilient circuits, install the tar.gz file, and then, then install that, integration or reflect or deploy that integration into the SOAR platform. So having said that, let's move on to the QRadar integration. So how we can, escalate the offenses. So for that, what we need to do is we have to go over to the App Exchange. Okay. So the first thing we need to go to the App Exchange, and then we have to install an application in the QRadar. So QRadar, so when you say QRadars, it's basically QRadar SIM. Okay, currently it has more close to 400 app. Here you can SOAR plugin. If you see this, IBM SOAR QRadar plugin. It says this is the application which is used to escalate the offenses from QRadar SIM to QRadar SOAR. You'll have to download it, and then once it is downloaded, you'll get a zip file, and then you'll have to go to the QRadar, and then as an admin, you'll have to go to the extension management, and then there you'll have to install the zip file. Okay, once that is done, you'll get this section, IBM QRadar SOAR plugin, and then configuration. The first thing we are going to do is configuration. Okay, so click on that configuration. So once that configuration box open up, you'll have to give a QRadar destination name. Okay, authorized service token, and then the source server URL, and then CP4S mode. CP4S is basically a cloud pack for security, another hybrid cloud offering from IBM. So SOAR is available as a service, CP4S on CP4S or on-prem. So these are the three offerings for SOAR. API key ID. This is the key ID from the SOAR platform. So you'll have to generate a key ID from the SOAR platform so that this app can create or write or generate the incident on the SOAR platform. Next is the multiple organization. If you see, on the SOAR platform, we can create multiple organizations. However, this option is only useful if you have MSSP add-on on the SOAR platform, because the moment you check on this, okay, if you see this right now, this shows organization name. Okay, this shows organization name. And if I just have a look at this organization name, it will dynamically change the moment I check this. It says configuration organization name. Vinod was explaining the MSSP architecture of this one, right, with integration server. So the with an MSSP add-on, you'll have to, once the SOAR platform becomes an MSSP compliant, so we'll have a config organization. So that organizations will come up here. But without that MSSP add-on, we'll have to use a single organization name. So in this, we have the org name as, this bootcamp. Once the bootcamp is done, leave the SOAR timeout 30 to default. Connect securely is basically, if you have certificates, go ahead. So right now, it is recommended that, if you have a trusted certificate between QRadar and SOAR, that you can use to check this on. And if you are ticking this, probably check this like this, then you should have a trusted certificate. If you're using self-signed certificate, and or untrusted certificate, just select uncheck, and then enable configuring SOAR, and then verify and configure. Once the verify and configure is done, so it will say verification and configuration is done. I have done that already, so I can just go ahead and do it again. So just to show you how it looks like. Okay, so here you will see connection and configuration verified successfully. That means the connection is good between the QRadar SIM and QRadar SOAR, and good to go. Once I hit save, so it will get saved. All right. Once that is done, this information will there will be a new button. Okay, so this is my QRadar SIM. Okay, on the offenses tab. So I go to this offense tab. So this is currently the offense tab. And then these are my offenses currently that is present on my QRadar SIM system. Okay. Now, once you install and configure this SOAR plugin, okay, a new option will be available under action, which is, by the way, if you're wondering, I'm using a Carbon UI of QRadar, which is available as an app in the App Exchange. This is called workflow. This one, not for SOAR, for QRadar SIM, IBM Security QRadar Analyst Workflow. So this is an app developed by IBM to provide the modern UI to QRadar. So that's what I'm using here. So these are the current offenses that is present in here. So to escalate any offenses, what I can do, I can choose this offense. Okay, so let's say I can choose another offense. Go to page 2. Okay, so we're in the page 2 action, and then there will be send to SOAR. If you see this, there is a new button, send to SOAR. Okay, if I click here, it asks me choose a template. Okay, so I'm going to choose a default template and then send. It says case has been created for offense 256. Okay, I'm just going to close it and go over there. So if you see this, it says, QRadar SOAR plugin updated the task list and incident QRadar, this one. And here it says QRadar SOAR plugin created the incident. This is the incident that got created. Okay. Now, if you're wondering what is the incident type, it's set. Incident type by default system intrusion. That is because we used the default template. Let me show you that. That you can configure using this escalation tab. Okay. This escalation tab. Here, the default template. Once you can download it. Okay. Once you download it, it's going to be something like this. Let me show you this. Hold on. Okay. So resident default template, this one. Okay, this is better. All right. So if you see this, this is the Jinja template that is used to, map the endpoints of the API, the offense API, offense endpoint API, right? So these are the on the left-hand side that you are seeing all the fields. These are the incident fields that would exist in the SOAR platform. On the template or the field, you have to fill in with this one: offense.start time, offense.event count, offense.category. So these are the variables, okay? So anything that you're seeing within the curly braces, double curly braces, those are the Jinja variable that will get replaced during the runtime. Okay, so if you see this, if you are wondering how to know which the variables are there, you can see show fields, and then these are the offense fields that you can use to map to different incident field. Okay, and Jinja syntax reference, if you're wondering, that you can have a look at in here. All right, so here you can build a new template also, and then save the template. All right, so this is how you're going to build a new template. Now, why this incident was created as system intrusion? Because if you see this in here, the incident field, incident type IDs, right? So the incident type IDs, system intrusion was there. So by default, the default template specifies that the incident type system intrusion. Okay, so this is basically a default template, hence this. So you're not supposed to directly use this without customization. So even though, I mean, you can change this. Obviously you can just go ahead and then edit it and then change the this type, incident type, to something else and choose denial of service, save. Okay, the following tasks were activated and the following tasks were deactivated based on the incident. So the SOAR platform will eventually, dynamically update the task based on the incident type. However, this can be done automatically using the SOAR platform. It's using the Jinja template itself. Okay, so to do that, what you can do, just you can do this based on some, you just have to have some a little bit knowledge about the Jinja syntax. You can do this here, system intrusion, or you can do some if block, right? So template, I'm not going to go into those details of the template coding. So there, I'll just give you some hint over there. So you can just have a look in here and then create templates, how to do that. It's already mentioned there. I'll just let you see how to do this automatic escalation. Okay, this is how you're going to do the manual escalation. But offense field, based on different fields, you can, whenever the offense are coming or getting generated on the QRadar, it can get automatically escalated to the SOAR platform so that new incident can be created. So what are those fields? These are the fields. These are the fields. So that is available for you to create the rules. So let's say assign to admin. Okay, and then default template. So if I'm going to create other template using the build a new template feature there, or I can also import a template, upload a template using this option, which I may have create or modify using this existing template which I have downloaded. So from there I can choose to add a rule. Okay, now this rule is added. Okay, you see this red symbol, right? So that if you click it, it will get deleted. So assign to admin, default template. So right now what will happen is that any new rule, any offenses or by default that gets assigned admin. Okay, so what this will do is that it's going to automatically escalate those offense using the default template to the SOAR incident. Okay. So this is about this is how you're going to, do the automatic and manual escalations.